Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And today I'd like to continue on with talking about some of my favorites of the year from the Criterion collection during 2021. And so I have a number of categories, and so today I'd like to focus, or right now I'd like to focus on this category which I've called favorite essays or writings from this year. Now, this could be any writing that can be found included with a physical media release from Criterion from 2021. So those are the ground rules that I set for myself. And that could mean, and I should say too, that unlike, say, prior years that I've been doing this, this time around I'd like to include any type of writing. So there could be an essay that was specially commissioned by Criterion this year for this particular release, so it was a newly written essay, or it could be a previously existing writing, say a magazine article or an interview that was conducted earlier in time that the Criterion collection was able to include with this new physical media release. Or along the similar lines of that, it could be, say, a short story or a novel or novella that is in one way or another related to the particular film that is being the subject matter of the Criterion collection release, etc. So as long as it's in some kind of written form, some kind of writing, and as long as it's included as part of the package, as part of the booklet of the physical media release itself, then I considered it as part of this particular category. So, and I had the great honor of being able to read all of the physical media release booklets and inserts and essays and leaflets and the like. And so I'm thinking about my own, say, feelings and the way I felt after or upon reading these particular works and how much it affected me and the like. And so it was a very difficult list to prepare, but these are what I came up with at the end of the day, so to speak. My list could differ from yours, and so if that's the case, I would love to hear what it is you thought up in terms of your favorites of the year. For now, let us go with our favorite essays or writings from Criterion physical media releases in 2021. Number 5, we have the writing, or one of the writings, which was included with the release, which is Spy number 1068, and it is included with this work, which is Smooth Talk. What a very powerful and very engaging physical media release from Criterion this is. And the booklet, which is right here, is one of the great, robust, and a stapled type of booklets with a number of writings, all of which are quite incredible. The one, I think, for me, that in particular stood out was the inclusion of the Joyce Carol Oates story. Where are you going? Where have you been? And I think there is a type of there is a real type of dynamic relationship, shall we say, between the written story and the film Smooth Talk. And this is, of course, true to any degree, in any capacity, when you're talking about a screen adaptation of a previously written work. I understand that. But in particular, with the character and dimension of a film like Smooth Talk, there is something very engaging and very absorbing about a consideration of this, as I say, dynamic and quite influx type of ebb and flow relationship between the work by Joyce Carol Oates and the work by Joyce Chopra here, so Smooth Talk. So, and I really love the engagement. I love the discussions that are found elsewhere in the booklet and also within the supplements about this particular relationship, the similarities and differences, the way in which there can be certain ambiguities in one work, and maybe there are certain clarifications, shall we say, in other works, or certain ways of interpreting such ambiguities in the other work, and vice versa. And that's what I mean. That's an example of when I say that there is a type of electrifying and dynamism that exists between, or within, the context of the relationship between the written word and the film adaptation. So my choice for number 5 is the inclusion of the short story, the story which is Joyce Carol Oates' story, Where Are You Going? Where Have You Been? Number 4, and this is in relation to the title, which was released at spine number 1065. And this is the film, or for the film, which is Mandabi. And this was earlier in the year. And as some of you may know, this particular release from Criterion had not one, but 2 inserts. The first of which being the fold-out type of insert, which had the wonderful essay that was written, which is called Paper Trail. It's a really fine essay, very, very informative indeed. And however, there was also a second booklet, which is actually a stapled type, which is right here. And this is my choice for number 4. This is the English language translation from the French language of the story, Ousmane Sembène's story, The Money Order. That's the title given to it in the English language. And this is published here, and it says published by the Criterion Collection in New York. And so we have this, including, this is about a 60-page or so book, so it could be considered short story or novella. And we have the writings here of Ousmane Sembène, and so we know also that this is has a very strong relationship between with the film Mandabi. And also we have the inclusion at the end of some, it's called glossary of Wolof terms. And so was so insightful and illuminating, and it was marvelous. It was absolutely marvelous for me to be able to read this. And it became something that I was reading over and over, because I was trying to get as many details as I could. And still, I'm fascinated by this particular writing. I'm fascinated by the film, and I'm fascinated by the writing, The Money Order. And as we know, there is a strong link, a very, very strong link, between what we see on the screen and what we can read in the written pages when one is reading this work, The Money Order, Ousmane Sembène's work. So, and it's also another example of the many dimensions of the artistry and vision and visions and the creativity and that wonderful drive forward of the artist, filmmaker, extraordinaire Sembène. So this is, and again, therefore it becomes in that way too a type of further celebration of the art and the life of Sembène. So wonderful job of Criterion to be able to have managed to put this together. And so it was very, very helpful and very informative and very engaging and enlightening. Very, very enlightening indeed. So thank you very much for this. This is my number 4 choice. Number 3, and this is associated with the physical media release at spine number 1084. And the physical release is right here, which is Mirror. And the writing is associated with the booklet for Mirror, which I've taken out here. I am so much overwhelmed by this particular work. I think this is one of the great achievements, and the Criterion Collection has done an excellent job in releasing this particular work at long last, right? For those of us who are fans of Tarkovsky's work and who want to see as many works by Tarkovsky in the Criterion Collection as possible. But here we have one of the great achievements from one of the great artists of cinema and indeed of art. So this is a wonderful release. And so in that context, we have the booklet Now, the booklet itself is huge, it's epic. And while it has epic dimensions, it also has dimensions of sincerity and intimacy and a type of real closeness that I think can also be very much apropos for a description of Mirror. It has this epic quality that is also very intimate and very sensitive. And so I think the writings that are included here are absolutely stellar. But I must say that when I was able to read Confession and A White, White Day by Andrei Tarkovsky and Alexander Misharin, which are included here in English language translations, these two writings were for me, and I understand based on, say, for instance, discussions that can be found in certain parts of, say, supplemental materials. We have so many possible sources of inspiration, let's put it that way, and possible, say, planning and notes and the sort. And so we get certain glimpses of the sources or a few of the sources of inspiration and planning and conception and conceptualization of this particular work, Mirror, when reading Confession in the English translation that's included here, and when reading A White, White Day. This is yet another way into the world of Mirror. It's another way into the journey through one's engagement with Mirror. And indeed, it brings us maybe a few steps closer, and yet it also brings us yet more wonder and spectacle and awe and possibility for yet further things. So that's a type of wonderful position to be in, I think. And so when I read Confession and when I read A White, White Day, I was really struck by how things felt similar, but at the same time, how things were also very different in a lot of ways. And in that way, I find these examinations to be so thought-provoking. And I think they're, as I say, just going back to my earlier comments, they really made me realize just how appropriate, how apropos they were in the concept or in the engagement that I was so fortunate to have with this work, Mirror. So I'm saying for my number 3 spot here, I'm counting the 2 writings. Maybe it's cheating a little bit, but I apologize. But it's the 2 writings here that are included in this one particular, or that are included among the writings here of this, which are a Confession and A White, White Day by Andrei Tarkovsky and Alexander Misharin, that are translated into English and are part of this particular booklet. So that is my choice for number 3. Now, my number 2 favorite essay or writing from the Criterion Collection Physical Media Releases from 2021. And that brings us to the release that was designated by Criterion at spine number 1103. And that release is right here. The epic box set, Once Upon a Time in China, the complete films. Now, the booklet that is included is right here. It has a number of great pictures. It has this great, it has a number of great writings. But if I had to choose, I have to go with the excellent, excellent essay by Grady Hendrix, which is called Life of a Legend, A Brief History of Wang Feiheng on Screen. Now, this is a beautiful and well-written and easy to follow explanation and reminder and great celebration of the legacy of the cinematic representations of this key figure, Wang Feiheng, and how Wang Feiheng has appeared in many examples of cinema prior to the Choi Hak series here, Once Upon a Time in China. And so this essay is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It makes us want to explore, or it makes me want to explore this world of Wang Feiheng and cinema from the late 1940s into the 50s, into the 60s, and through various actors, through various representations. Although perhaps the name that is perhaps legendary among legends is Kwon Tak-king. So the focus on Kwanta King and the true legacy that he has made in cinema through his performances as Wang Feiheng is emphasized here with such love and admiration and a real care and dedication, as well as other actors and other situations that we have seen in cinema, and then, as I say, leading up to Once Upon a Time in China. So this is an essay that I have read so many times. I can't get enough of it. I think it's it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. It makes me so hungry for more. And I know a lot of that, the films that are spoken of, maybe there might be issues in terms of films that haven't survived or that are otherwise unavailable. But that's still okay for me, because we are still getting, or I'm still getting, one heck of a learning experience every time. So the Grady Hendrix essay, Life of a Legend, A Brief History of Wang Feiheng, on screen. The first page of such essay being right here. Please check it out. This is one of my favorites. And that brings me to my number one top favorite essay or writing from a physical media release from the Criterion collection from this year, 2021. And I thought about this very, very hard. And I had to ultimately choose this particular writing because I can still remember the electricity, the excitement that I felt. I was really excited when I was reading it and when I finished it, and I just couldn't get enough of it. And I was just reading it over and over and over and over again that night when I was first just being absorbed by what was being talked about, what was being spoken about, what was written on the pages. It was so utterly delightful. And so it is associated with the title that is designated Spy Number 1077. And that film is this, Flowers of Shanghai. And the booklet is right here, Flowers of Shanghai. It's an amazing booklet. And one of the reasons why, for me, it is so amazing is that it has an interview with Hou Xiaoxian, which is in English and in translation, according to Michael Berry. It says here, appearing here for the first time in English in my translation. This interview on Flowers of Shanghai is excerpted from certain 2009 conversations that he had with the artist director. So, interview with Hou Xiaoxian. This interview is, for me, mind-blowing. This is mind-blowing. I could not get enough of this. I was so stunned. I was learning constantly. I had to take notes and jot them down, but I was still struggling. Should I spend the time to take notes, or should I just go back to the writing and just become absorbed by it? I was just fascinated by certain choices that were being revealed, Hou Xiaoxian's approach to certain aesthetic choices, certain aspects about the literary sources, and aspects about history and the like, and how it was all so fine-tuned, and yet at the same time there's a sense of magic, and there's also this wonderful detail and also insight into one of the great artists, Hou Xiaoxian. So oh my goodness, I'm just I'm looking at it right now again, and I'm so tempted to read it right now. This is, to me, one of the best. This is one of the best. So this is my number one favorite writing from this year 2021's Criterion releases. This is the inclusion of what's referred to, it's excerpts, but it's referred to here as Interview with Hou Xiaoxian by Michael Berry. Please, please, please check it out if you can. It is excellent. Okay, my friends, so that concludes my list of my favorite essays or writings from 2021's Criterion releases. But we will continue on with other categories. In the meantime, do you have any favorites in terms of the essays or writings from this year? Please feel free to let me know in the comments section below, my dear, dear friends. But until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great, great movies. So I will see you at the next video. But until then, cheers.